How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another G80 M3 DIY video. Today's video is sponsored by IRL. If you guys weren't aware, I have a exhaust here on the car currently from IRL. So we've got a Active Auto Work single resonated mid-pipe in the middle, and then we have an IRL axle back. And so today we're actually going to be adding another part from IRL, specifically a valve controller. All right, so I've already kind of cheated a little bit here and started opening the package, but you'll see that it is nicely wrapped here from IRL. So I will insert some clips here of what the exhaust currently sounds like without the valve controller. It's still operating with just the normal OEM valve functions, and which is fine. But the problem with the OEM valves, if you guys weren't aware, BMW does have valved exhaust from factory, but the valves actually don't open all the way, so they're constantly modulating, they're constantly opening and closing based on your throttle position, things like that. So also depends on what mode you're in: sport, comfort, sport plus, that sort of thing. So with valve controllers, it actually forces the valves completely open, and because when you are in sport plus, the valves are probably 75% open. There's plenty of videos. Keys Motorsports did a video as well of like displaying what the valves look like when it's supposed to be fully open, versus when you have an actual valve controller that forces the valve completely open. So it gives you that increased noise and volume that you're looking for without sacrificing much on the inside. And so for today's video, we're installing an IRL version. And so this is the remote. This is what's really cool. I've seen pictures of this, but this thing is super weighted. It's heavy. I mean, that's metal. Look at that. That's really cool. So basically it's wireless Bluetooth. I mean, it's buttons here that allow you to open and close on the fly. So that's really awesome. And then the actual controllers here. Let's see, it looks like we've got two controllers. So that's kind of cool. Having the ability to have two of them. It's a nice touch. So you'll see that we've got a couple pieces here, and this is the actual module itself. And so I believe this is a revised version from what their previous one was, which required hardwiring to a battery and things like that. This actually should be completely plug and play, and it should plug directly into your OEM valves. And all it's going to do is bypass the OEM valve, go in, into the programmed module here, which will tell it what to do, and we should be good to go. So basically, we're going to plug this into one on each side, because there are two valves on this exhaust. All right, so looking at this further, this little piece here, I think is a cap for one side. So I think what this is actually doing on this revised version is it's using the power from one side, splitting it off into two, and on the factory harness, we're going to plug one of those sides. So instead of having two separate, powers coming in, we're basically using one power and capping off one, and it will still be operational. So basically, I'll show you guys when we get down there, but we're going to tuck this and hide this out of the way. We're going to run our lines, one to each valve. All right, so basically what we're going to do is unplug the factory valves. We're going to plug the IRL into the factory valve that's coming out of the car, and then the plug that's going to the factory valves will be either plugged into this or capped off on one side. So again, I'll show you when we get down there, but pretty simple install compared to, I've seen some of the older version, the V1 version of the valve controller from IRL from other YouTube videos, and it's a lot more involved. You have to, go through into the trunk to get power from the battery directly and things like that. So this is a new version. It's all been done inside of the box here. It should be nice and easy to put together. Okay, first things first here, I'm on the driver's side. Here you can see we've got easy access to the valve. And all I need to do is unplug it right here. So you should be able to squeeze it with your fingers if you got room. And you should be able to unplug it. All right, there we go. So all I did was, there's a little tab here that you need to push down, right where my fingernail is right there. Push down, pull up, and it unplugs. We're going to do that exact same thing on the passenger side. Same thing here on the passenger side. Kind of squeeze it here. Get your fingers in here. Might help to jack up the car too, but that's okay. You should be able to get down in here and basically push that tab up and pull out. There we go, just like so. So both valves are disconnected. All right, so now that I've got the factory valves unplugged, I went ahead and, took the zip tie off of the IRL version here. As you guys can see, we've got some long cords here. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna mount this module down underneath the driver's side here. There's kind of like a little cavity that we're gonna actually put this in, and we've got plenty of slack. We're gonna probably wind up a lot of this, but we're gonna basically route this side to the left side. So basically, you saw that I unplugged the factory valve, right? And so this is going to go in its place into that same location. And this side, the female side, will plug into what we just unplugged. So that'll cover that. And then you'll see that we have this other really long side that is going to be navigated, from here under the heat shields all the way over to the other valve that we disconnected. We're going to plug this into its place, and then on the other end, the female end, we have this, which I showed you guys earlier. This will plug into that, and that'll cap it off. So again, we're only basically getting power from one of the valves, but it's going to operate both through this harness. All right, so I went ahead and jacked the car up just for ease of access here. But again, you'll see that we unplugged the factory valve right there. Move my light down here. We went ahead and unplugged the factory valve. So now what we're gonna do is take the IRL version here. We're gonna take the female, plug it into the factory harness right here that we unplugged, and it should snap right into place here. So it only goes in one direction. Just like that, and then it clicks into place, just like so. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that same one, the same length side, and we're going to plug it into the actual valve. Again, it only goes in one direction until it clicks in. Push this little lock down, and that keeps it from coming out. And so now, at this point, it's just kind of some wire maintenance. You'll see that basically, when we did this exhaust install, I tucked the wire up here for the existing valve. So what I'm going to do is actually take some of these 8mm or 10mm screws out, and I'm going to do some wire tucking back in this cavity. In addition, at least for this one, for this wire up here, there's a cavity here that has nothing in it. So you should be able to reach your hand up in here, and yep, you should be able to reach way up inside of here, and that's where I'm actually going to mount the little module, the box. So maybe a little bit of sticky-sided or double-sided tape here just to keep it from moving around. Maybe some Velcro, one of the two will work. All right, you'll see that I'm taking a 10mm socket here, and I'm unscrewing this part of the heat shield because I want to be able to put my wires back up inside of here. Alright, move that out of the way, and then you'll see that I have my old wire back in there from before. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to basically tuck, actually what I'm going to do is, let's see here, the cavity that I'm talking about is way up in here. So I might actually, let's see, I think what I'll do is take my box and prepare it with some double-sided tape, and then I'm going to stick all my wires up in here. But just for the sake of time, I'm going to shove this up in there just to show you guys what I'm staring at here. So right up in here, you'll see that there's this plastic kind of cavity here. You can actually stick your hand all the way up inside of here, and tuck all your wires. And that's where the actual box is going to go as well. All right, so you'll see that we only have this one wire coming out of here, out of the valve, the driver's side. And my wires and my box are all up inside of this cavity, all nice and tucked away. And then the only other wire is going to be going and routing to the other side. So again, we've got this one plugged in here. We've got this other long one that's going to go all the way to the other side. So what I'm going to do is actually tuck this wire under this heat shield all the way across. So basically it's going to go this way. So it's going to go this way, all the way over underneath that heat shield to the other side, the passenger side. All right, so looking from the back here, if you go right above the muffler, you'll see that I basically ran my wire in this kind of channel. So right above here, you'll see that there's kind of this channel in between these two heat shields. So I ran my wire all the way across this whole channel here. So from the bottom, you could remove some of these, just to kind of make it easy on yourself. You could remove, there is a, let me see here, there's a couple screws, some more of these 10mm screws, one here, one on the other side down here, that you can take off in order to kind of tuck the wire down into that channel more, and then that way it's nice and secure. But as you can see here at the passenger side, I have this wire coming out over here, and you'll see here that it's popped out of this channel that I ran all the way across. So it comes out right here, and now I can go ahead and plug this into the actual valve here. All right, so here is our factory one that we already unplugged, which I'm going to cap off. So I'm going to just move this out of the way for a moment. And then this one here is the one that I ran through the channel and over. And so this one will just pop right into place here and click in and lock down. And then this one I'm going to cap. So basically what this cap is doing here is it is completing the loop, I guess, in the wiring. And basically it's sending a signal to the car saying that everything is all good. Otherwise you would get a fault code or something on the dash if you didn't have one of these. If you just unplugged it, it would have an error. And so basically this is tricking the system into thinking that the car is, you know, the valves are functional and all that. So I'm basically going to tuck this up here as well. So I'm also going to take my 10mm here just to keep it nice and tidy. I'm going to take this little heat shield screw off, just like I did on the other side. Just make sure you put it back in. Okay, so we'll take that screw off, and then I can kind of bend this heat shield down a little bit, enough to get this back up in here. So I'm gonna tuck this away, right, just like so, and then I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall this little screw right here that we just removed, and that'll keep everything nice and tidy. So that's nice and tucked away. Make sure our wire is already in here, out of the way. And we should be good to go here. So very simple to install. Probably a 5-minute job at most. Obviously, if you can get on the car easily, then it makes it a simple, easy process. Additionally, you'll see that we have 2 of these valve controllers. Both of these are already pre-programmed to your actual specific IRL valve controller. So there's nothing for us to do. Additionally, there are 3 buttons on here. There's actually a top, a middle, and a bottom. So one's gonna be open, close, and then one's gonna be actually with OEM valve function. So what I also really like about this remote, other than the weight, which is really awesome, it's nice and heavy, feels really nice in your hands, nice and ergonomic. It does have the little LED indicator here, but in addition, it does have 3 buttons. So the top one is going to be closed, open, and OEM settings. So I don't know if other valve controllers on the market have an OEM setting, but that's kind of a nice feature just in case I want to, not have it too loud, but not have it fully closed. I have the option to revert back to an OEM setting. And what's also cool about this is that it completely remembers your last setting. So if I drive the car and it's in completely open mode, when I get home and I turn off the car, the next day I get in the car again, it actually remembers that it was open in its last setting. So that's kind of a nice feature as well. And that's kind of cool too, because when you do get home and you know that you're going to be home, go ahead and close the valves. In the morning when you're doing your cold start, the valves are already closed for you, so you don't actually have to reach for the remote. Additionally, I think you can actually pair this to your HomeLink mirror. So these BMWs, all these modern cars these days have the buttons underneath there. You can program for garage door openers and things like that. And I actually think you can pair this remote instead. Since it is a 3-button operation, I think all it's going to do is, you program one. I think if you program 1 button to do open, 1 button to close, 1 button to do OEM settings, but it does take up all 3 of your little buttons on the mirror. So something to consider, but I will probably just continue using the remote. It's pretty easy. I always just kind of leave it here in my center console. It's easy for me to grab. Okay, so as you guys can see, super simple install. Really is maybe a 5-10 minute job. You really just need to focus on the wire maintenance because they do give you quite a bit of slack. So just wire maintenance and tucking the wires away and making it all nice and neat, because you don't want to have any of those wires dangling or getting caught in the wheels or anything weird like that. So, but yeah, super simple install. This is a lot easier, I think, than their V1 version of the valve controller. Again, this is completely plug and play. Everything comes configured for you on the remotes as well. So, and yeah, super awesome to have a chance to really open up the exhaust a little bit more on the outside at least and make a little bit more noise. So if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, please let me know in the comments below. Huge thanks again over to IRL for sending this over to me. I'll have a link in the video description if you want to order one of these. Their exhaust is also really awesome too. So, pick up some stuff from IRL. Really, really great guys to work with. So again, comments, questions, or concerns, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Thanks for watching.